the Texas Longhorns.
Destined for greatness, my name is written in stars, and I will give everything, all that I have to the cause. Fight against evil, run through the pain, battle it all, this is more than a game. I am a lion and I can't be tamed, it's how it was made, there's ice in my veins, run through it all. No matter the odds, I will answer the call, the enemy knocks on the door. Even the greatest among us will fall, but the greatest will get back up. So I won't back down, and I won't give up, and I will act now, and I will stand up. They know that I'm here for it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par-Mar store. From gas to grocery, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par-Mar Stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par-Mar Stores, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Wilson Martino Dental. Did you know that 95% of our dentists have graduated from WVU? And many former players and WVU coaches trust Wilson Martino Dental with their oral health. The Mountaineers and Wilson Martino Dental. Yeah, we do that.
And yes, Mountaineer Hardcourt Legends pregame. Yeah, we do that. Right along with Bobby Martino, right along with Dan Cava Toyota World, right along with Par-Mar Stores, and right along with Country Roads Trust. Your name, image, and likeness. And welcome once again to Mountaineer Hardcourt Legends pregame. And we have Legends Jarrod West, Tim Kearney, Darryl, Prue. I'm the host, WolfMan, and I'm excited. We're coming off the victory of TCU, number 14 in the country. And well, I tell you what, it's exciting to get off the snide of the Big 12. And of course, Jarrod, I'm going to start out with you. What was your take on the game?
I think we owe Big Boy an apology, first of all. And once again, glad to be on with you guys. Big Bell. We came here, not that we were bashing him, but we were kind of holding him accountable for how he's been playing. And we kind of said Lampkin was going to dominate what he's been doing. We owe him an apology. So if he's listening, if anybody's listening, I full-heartedly apologize because he came to play. And he was the main factor of the game, to be honest with you. He was kind of dominant. And I think our defense was a lot better, for most of the game. They'd had that little second half run, but and we closed out. We talked about the last 5 minutes of the games. We hadn't been doing very well, but I thought the other night, the last 5 minutes, we closed out as well. So I think those were the keys. But once again, apologize to Big Bell. He brought the noise the other night.
Hey, you know what I love about that, man, Jay? Let's just way to stand up. Stand up and be a man and be like, you know what? Okay, but we did. If you hold him accountable, you hold him accountable, and he stands up, and all is good, and that's what you expect. So that's, all it is just constructive criticism.
Yeah,
that's what coaching is, and you're a coach. So Tim Kearney, what is your take?
No, I agree with what Jarrod said. I mean, Bill had a heck of a game. We had some good, guys coming off the bench as well. Kadrian Johnson, he played a heck of a game too. I mean, he stepped up. And just overall, the intensity was so much more than it has been in the past 5 games. As far as them getting up down the court and making things happen, hitting their free throws, rebounding. I believe we out rebounded them too, didn't we? So we're finally, hitting.
We did 31-18.
Yeah, so we're hitting the boards, which we need. Obviously, we need to do that tonight as well against Texas because it's going to be a physical game inside.
Hey Tim, one quick question: how do you feel about Jamie Dixon? No swearing. All right, we're gonna continue on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say a damn word. Okay.
All right, DP, what's your take, brother?
I just think that game shows you that the previous 5 was just like that, especially except for probably the Kansas and Kansas State game. It was a close game. They executed all the way through. They didn't fall apart in the last 5 minutes of the game. They hit their free throws. So if you do that, the first Big 12 game, now the record is different. You don't lose 5 in a row. So it's just they put it all together. They were at home, and they play hard. So Bell stepped up. I think the key was Johnson, and we said last week we need somebody to score 20-something points, 20 points and above.
Yeah.
And he was the guy.
You said that, and I think I did bring up that, hey, is Kearney Johnson, is he the key? And I don't know. We'll get into that later, but let's go along with this. And I want to go back to you, Jay, with this, and you tell me, what do you think that WVU has played the 6th toughest schedule? This is the game notes of WVU. 24th NET, 27th BPI, 23rd KenPom, 48th defensive efficiency, 19th offensive efficiency. They're 1-5 in the Big 12. Does that mean anything?
Yes, it means that we're in a tough conference. Obviously, that goes without saying. But hey, that means we got to win games too. You can't just rely on the crutch of we're in a tough conference. So if we lose tough games, woe is me. Nobody cares you're in a tough conference. You got to find a way to pull out the victories like we did the other night. To what Prue was saying, and we've been saying for the last 4 games. Excluding Kansas, I mean, we could have been 4-1 going into the last game. We got to find a way to win those games like we did the other night. Yes, that means we're close. That means we're a good team, being top 20, top 30 in all those categories. Yeah. At the end of the day, none of that means nothing if you don't win some of these close games. So we got to continue to pull those games out, and especially as Prue, Tim can attest to. Anytime you can't lose home games in conference. So we got to take care of business today.
Yeah.
And, the ideal is to win all of your home games split on the road, and we got to take care of a game day against another ranked team in Texas, which is going to help our strength of schedule again today. So we got to get another win.
Right up. Okay, so Tim, the Longhorns are 15-3. Overall, 4-2 in conference. They lost to Iowa State on Tuesday night. Iowa State was pretty hot there with 3-point shooting. But is this game that the Mountaineers had against TCU, is this the turnaround? Is this getting over the hill? Is this the launching point for the Mountaineers?
I think it's a good start. Like I said, and we discussed a little bit earlier before our broadcast here. I mean, they're coming into our house, and very similar to what they went into at Iowa State. And it's going to be a tough physical game on both sides. And I watched that game, and it was, up and down the court, everyone was moving. It was physical inside. They were pounding inside. I think we need to do the same thing too. They've got a couple big guys that, we need to take the ball to them. As far as what Iowa State did against Texas with Carr, they kind of shut him down because he only had 11 points, and he's averaging close to 20 points a game. So they did a good job on Carr, and I think we need to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so DP, tell me now, what is your take? Is this a launching point for the Mountaineers for the rest of the Big 12 cycle?
I just think right now is to get the monkey off the back. They got the monkey off the back, getting that one victory. This Texas team is pretty tough, coming off a loss, so they're going to be coming here with different kind of energy also. And our guys got to be consistent. You can't do it one game. You got to be, like they have not shown that they can do this consistently. Now, if they win tonight, I mean, we look at them a little different. So, I think it can go either way. I don't think Texas is not beatable, but the guys have to step up.
Yeah,
All right.
Darryl and I agree. I mean, if we get a win tonight, I think the Big 12 is going to look at West Virginia a lot differently than they've been looking at us.
So true. And DP, I got a question for you. Are your pictures always crooked, or are they just hanging behind you like that?
I don't have them on the wall. I got them on the couch. So they
you carry them around with you. Is that
that's why I keep going side to side.
Oh my goodness. All right. That's all right. We'll start out with that. Very good. And I want to know this. And Tim, I'm going to start off with you because you are the hothead of this group. So I'm going to say,
thanks.
Yeah, you got it. So for Trey Mitchell, is there any point, this is a technical foul, is there any time that it's a good technical foul?
What the hell did they call the technical foul on? I mean, all he did
Right
was
there.
he made a
Right
motion.
there.
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to keep it clean, but he's just, we did the same thing. I mean, Gene's territory and Joe Forte. I used to talk to them all the time, like, the same way. But I think they're getting a little tight on these technical fouls.
You can't show these guys up no more. That's too much hand movement. You can't do that. It's on TV. They're being evaluated. You can't do that. He can do it, but he can't. But Trey Mitchell can't do it. When I was coaching with Georgetown, if you ever watched John Thompson III, he would always put his hands in his pockets and talk to the referee. Could have been cussing him out. He could have been doing all kinds of things, but he had his hands in his pockets. He wasn't showing them up. So nowadays you can't do that. Like Rasheed Wallace used to get mad. Used to get text for staring. You know what I mean? And wouldn't say nothing. So the whole thing has changed. Since we played in college.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Jay, I got something for you because last week or last show you were like, "Hey, man, it really mattered how the Mountaineers played down the stretch." And so I got this video just for you. And I'm going to play it here, and you tell me about how they played down the stretch, because these are some key points. The last 5 minutes of it, it's not all 5 minutes by any means, but it is going to show you some key moments here. And just tell me what your thoughts are. Right there, you see Stevenson. He's hustling, man. He's doing what he can, even if he's not scoring.
Well, I mean, like we've talked about, for the last 4 or 5 games, we could be 5-1 if we've executed down the stretch. So you get a play right there with Joe. Good defense right there. But obviously everybody playing together, moving the ball, getting to the basket right there for a big-time layup, passing it. But most importantly, down the stretch, we defended without fouling, and we rebounded the ball and then made free throws. And that's what it comes down to, defending without fouling, making crucial stops, and making big-time plays at the end. If we would have done that in previous games, we'd be 5-1. Simple as that. So credit to those guys. And listen, as Prue, Tim can tell you, when you're 0-4, 0-5, there's a level of desperation that you have to play with, and I think that the guys played desperate the other night. You can't go 0-6 in conference and think you're gonna, win it or come back to compete. So we needed that game. It was way more important to us than them, and I think the same thing is today. We're 1-4, 1-5 in conference at home. We got to play desperate again down the stretch, and make the right plays.
Tim, what do you think, man? This is desperate right here, as Jay West just said, but they executed when it was crunch time.
No, I agree with that. I mean, they like I said, they kept the 4 spread as far as on the offensive side. They picked up help on the defense side. As far as this game coming up here with Texas, I still look, at Desant being, off the bench, coming up against Carr. Might be a key matchup to shut him down. But like I said, they just got to keep, hitting the boards hard and winning the rebound match.
DP, I talked earlier with you before we went on air, and I said, hey, you know what? When we score like 30-plus points in the paint, they have a better tendency of winning. And here, as you watch this, now you actually saw them going ahead and hitting the paint even the last few minutes. Don't you have a better chance instead of relying on shooters? Because I don't know if we're a pure shooting team.
We're definitely not a shooting team. So you got Bell that can score in the paint. You have Trey Mitchell that can score in the paint. and Johnson was doing a good job of driving and getting layups. So that helps a lot. It's like easy points. Layups are easy points. Shooting contested jump shots, missing and hoping to go in. You can shoot yourself in the game, you can shoot yourself out of the game. I think sometimes in this era, a lot of teams shoot themselves out of the game.
Would you say that was a physical game?
I mean, that's the way they've been playing all year. I think, that's the way we have to play. I mean, I think the identity is throwing into Mitchell, throwing into Bell even more, and, before we talked about playmakers, we wanted Matthews to drive it more, but this past game, Johnson was driving it more, and he got layups. That's what we need. You need somebody to break down that defense, get in the lane. You saw Toussaint got in the lane. Early in the year, he was getting in the lane and creating havoc, and it seemed like he stopped because he was forcing a lot of things. In this game, he wasn't forcing nothing. He had layups, 8-foot jump shots. So I think we have to go back to that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So let's go ahead and take a look here at what Bob Huggins said. And I say, quote, Kearney is our heart and soul on both ends of the floor. End quote. And go ahead, Jay West, take over, man, as you watch Kearney here. And not only successful, but he was making his free throws, but he was taking it and driving.
I'm a big-time Kearney Johnson guy. I love him. He reminds me a lot of how I play from a defensive standpoint and tenacity and energy. So I'm a big-time Kearney guy. I was happy for him because he's known as a defensive player, but he made big shots for us, got in the paint. And to be honest with you, I got to give some kudos to Toussaint also. Not that I've been harsh on him, but he made big time shots at the end of the game the other night. I do agree, Kearney is our heart and soul because we're a defensive-minded team, we're a gritty team, and that's his whole game: defense, grittiness, trying to get under the opposing team's point guard or best perimeter player. When he makes shots for us and makes good plays offensively, that's really extra. That's icing on the cake for us. So if he and Joe play a balanced game on offense, don't make turnovers and make crucial shots, that's a big plus for them. So I give both of those guys their flowers for how they played the other night.
Yeah. So Tim, let me say you were a former big man. How much does you appreciate it when you see a guard like Kearney going ahead and driving into the paint where big men roam and big men run, and there he is taking it up there to the glass? How much do you appreciate that as a teammate?
No, I appreciate it, but I also appreciate they pass the ball off to me as well.
Well, which he did do. If you just saw that, he did do a little bit.
It goes both ways. And trust me, I fed a lot of assists to Mike King and some other people on our team and Russell Todd and all those guys. But you always look for the open guy, and you look for somebody who's got the drive, the heart. As far as Johnson, yeah, he's heart and soul. But there's got to be another guy who could pick up the slack in case something happens. And I think Jarrod was right. Joe coming off the bench might be somebody else who can drive this team as well. It's like I said, it's just a true team effort. As far as if someone can't do something some night, someone's got to pick up the slack. And I think who was it during the press conference the other day after the TCU game? Was that Trey talking about? All the guys can't do everything at once.
Trey, yeah.
Yeah, and he said something to the fact that if, some guy's not having a good night, someone else has to pick up the slack. And I think that's what needs to happen. I mean, like I said, we've got, 8, 9 transfer portal guys coming in, brand new team. They're learning each other, and I see it gelling together from game to game. It's getting better. And like I said, just having the confidence of these guys, and you can tell off the floor, and I've seen different videos, they do truly like each other, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, all right, then, Darryl, let me ask you this, okay? That just like I asked Tim, you see a guy like that making big plays. We talked about them being able to make plays. You talked about being able to make 20, but you also did see Kearney go ahead, and you're going to see him going ahead and dishing it off in the paint here, along with others. But I mean, this is a pretty good job here by the players are getting into the paint. Go ahead, watch it. Break it down for me, man. If you need me to run something over again, I'll run it over.
No, guys setting screens, the right play, cut. I don't think we made that pass all year from that angle. Guys,
This is what you asked for, though. Remember?
Yeah, they're sharing the ball. Yeah, they're sharing the ball.
That's team ball.
That's team ball. That's classic. That's a classic fast break drill you do in practice and before you get started. Again, classic. Just sharing the ball. You don't have the shot. He could have forced his shot up. He could have went back to his left hand. But Bell did a good job of ducking in, got an easier shot. They were looking for each other. When guys go to the rim, it frees up things. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Look at all the guys trying to stop him from going, and it loses sight of Matthews. He get a free dunk. He gets in the lane. He misses. Now you get a guy to hit an offensive rebound because you have 2 or 3 guys trying to stop him. Look, turn his head. Bell goes right to the rim, get a dunk. Bam. That's pressure. That's pressure. We were talking about Matthews. We want him to do it more. But, Johnson did a good job of getting in there. Toussaint did a good job of getting in there. It creates pressure. That was a good job from Muhammad running the floor. Who was that? Matthews. Patience. Muhammad, patience. Good.
Muhammad's actually stepping up too, Darryl. I mean, he's actually coming up.
2 or 3 guys, are touching the ball on offense instead of just one guy just going, So look at his good, not even a good screen, but the bad defense. And we made them pay. Before we wasn't making people pay for bad defense. Right here, boom. That's great basketball right here.
Great. Let me ask you this, Jay West, how much does that get the crowd and the team juiced? When you see that kind of effort and that running down there and doing that kind of smash ball, you got to get jacked.
I totally agree. And obviously the best asset we have at home is the home crowd. I do want to emphasize something or say something that we may have been, well, I won't say we, maybe I have been overstating. We might just have to realize that we might not be a team that has a 1, 2, 3 guy. And instead of trying to force feed, 2 or 3 guys, we might just be a team that it might be a different guy every different night. We might have 6 or 7 guys that, depending on the night, might be the guy. How most teams are built. They have a go-to guy, second guy, third guy, and everybody knows the pecking order. We might not be that type of team, so we might have to come to terms with that, and let's hope and pray that every night we get 2 or 3 guys that step up and bring their A game. And as a coach, sometimes that's scary because you might not be able to trust it or you don't know it, but that might just be who we are as a team.
Well, I think that's what Trey was saying the other night in the conference that they had after they beat TCU. He said the same thing. He says we can't just have one guy go out there. We're going to have multiple different guys come out there, every night and fill the voids.
Right. Yeah, makes it hard for opposing teams to maybe scout or get ready for you, but also as a coach of a team that I don't know who my guy is, sometimes it's stressful because you don't know who's going to show up on any given night or who I'm going to try to run a play for late. So we just kind of have to figure it out and once again, hope and pray that every, 2 or 3 guys step up. Go ahead, Prue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, we talked about this a long time ago. We don't have that one guy. We wanted Stevenson to be that guy at the beginning of the year. And, you watch Mitchell, then you wanted him to be that guy. Then you play against a Kansas State and you see a Keontae Johnson, and you see the little guard Noel, and you see these other teams, they have those guys. And you're right, it's just like, it's, when we share the ball, we're a much better team than saying all this isolation stuff. And I don't think, the isolation in the post is okay, because Mitchell can score every now and then, but I don't think he has been that guy before. We can just throw him the ball all the time and throw it to him all the time, especially Bell. Throw it to him all the time. We can score. I think have to be a collective effort.
Darryl, from a coaching perspective, let me ask you this question: this whole isolation, and Jarrod as well, from a coaching perspective, this whole isolation. I mean, if you look at some of the isolation that I've seen in the past years with West Virginia, you have one guy, and the rest of them, 4 of them, are standing around. So this isolation sometimes doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's this new wave of people teaching basketball, and we used to say when I was at Georgetown, don't let the ball stick. So the guy isn't to isolation. He let the ball stick. He's holding it too long. You have to get somebody else open for a shot.
Well,
this team right here don't get another person a shot. Like we saw somebody passing Matthews on the cut. That's getting somebody else a shot. You know what I mean? Like, everybody else everybody was just getting to their move. And I think Trey Mitchell had said it in one of the press conferences, everybody think they can do their thing. You know what I mean? And that thing is not working because, certain levels, certain guys can't do that thing because other guys might be doing that thing better. So, it's being a team, moving the ball, screens, cutting. Like we wasn't cutting before, so yeah, and that was a good cut, you know what I mean? So I think being a basketball player instead of just, isolation is a big difference.
Yeah.
For me, from my standpoint, isolation is just for the getting your best guy the ball and just trying to let him go one-on-one instead of working as a team. Which, you football, they do the same thing, trying to do 2-on-2 on the outside, and that's just coaching the way it's been going. But Jay West, question, big one for you. How angry did it make you when you're trying to be the offensive guy, the quarterback, running the floor, and everybody was doing their own thing?
It's frustrating in a way. I think some of that is schematically, but I think also there's a happy medium that you can find. If I pass the ball and I get some movement and I got 2 or 3 people opposite the ball moving and cutting at the same time, that's when guys can still do some isolation to go one-on-one. Bad isolation is when you pass the ball and 4 other guys are looking at you. So I think a lot of it is if I pass and screen away or cut, I'm giving a guy a 2-second window to kind of get busy. Compared to the AAU generation that we're in now, they pass and they just stand and watch. So that's bad isolation. I think there's good isolation and bad isolation that you can still do some ice the ball within the team concept, if that makes sense. So we just got to find a happy medium, and I think a lot of that comes down to who knows how to play basketball and who doesn't.
You said it.
Go ahead, my fault, Prue.
Yeah, you said it. The schemes, like. You remember back when you played, in the Big East, and where there's an isolation, but there's 3 guys setting screens on the other side.
Right.
And that goes back to the movement that Tim was talking about. Nobody's moving, just standing there. So you got the defense occupied on the other side, and what he meant, Dale, by 4 guys looking at you. So you got the ball in isolation, and you got the defender, and all 4 defenders are looking at you. You know what I mean? Not moving. So, but if you have
isolation, you nailed it. If you got 4 guys standing around, then the other defenders are standing around. There is no isolation. You've got to move those defenders all over the place.
And thus, why it would piss me off. Because I'd be the one holding the ball saying, yo, let's go. You guys need to move it because I don't care what sport you're in. You always want to move and go to the ball and go to the basket. That's continue. Standing still has never been an athletic term of standing still unless you just got to post. But you're still fighting when you're posted, right? I mean, you're still fighting the body, moving your feet. Okay. Well, very good. So not everything was great on Wednesday night. And, of course, Tim, let's start out with you. I'll go ahead and play this clip. And it sure seemed like TCU got inside a lot with the the dribble penetration, getting in there. Obviously, they had Miles in there, who was absolutely fabulous. But they did do some passing, as you see. Go ahead. What did you see there as they attacked the paint?
Yeah, like I said, we need to really close down some of these guys, and tonight's going to be tough too because they got a couple of big guys in there that can do the same thing. I think it's just being on the help side, and I'm not sure, Darryl, if you've seen some of this, but I just don't know if it's defensive breakdown as far as the help that's going on or what.
Well, the first clip, it was just good offense. They moved the ball, had a lot of movement, guys cutting, so that was a good offense. That last clip right there, he just bailed out. Right here, just not getting back on defense, just floor balance. Yeah. Pass. He go for the steal. Again, I've been saying about Matthews for a minute. You want to score, attack him, because he will. There's like the one play he had his back to the basket, and he threw it over the top, and his guy got a layup. He tried to block it at the end. There you go again, right there. His back is to the ball. Look at it. You know what I mean? So his defensive principles are wrong. You know what I mean? Again, to attack Matthews. He's you know what I mean? Like he has to toughen up, and we're gonna see a lot of it tonight because they're gonna drive it on him because that's what
Well, that's why I brought it up, DP. How can they? What can they do to do better?
Just move their feet, stay in front, stop going for steals, stop ball watching off the side. Look at Matthews' back is turned again. You know what I mean? Now he's better. They got a little confusion. You know what I mean? Now they got to talk it out. Right here, just a good play. He got to get over a little earlier. Stevenson was stuck in no man's land. Can't play defense like that.
It's kind of like there's no weak side help, whatever. He's got his back.
Well, if you go back to the clip before this, you can't before this one. Right here. That's just bad defense on Matthews. Look, you're on the wrong side of the defense. You're always supposed to be between the basket and your man, not the ball and your man. You know what I mean? So it's hard to play help defense on something like that. And right here, he bails out. He didn't stay down. The guys came over. Just a good play on offense.
Well,
the guy who shoots the ball, his man runs down court and beat him. Right here, ball movement, go for the steal. Yeah, that's just bad defense.
Yeah, that's a rough clip for Emmett. He needs to try to burn this film.
I'll tell you what. When I was making it, he was not my focus. Okay,
that's 10 to 12 easy points, all attributed to bad defensive mechanics. That's bad.
Hey, Jarrod.
All right, you know what? I'm getting rid of this right now. I'm burning it.
He's got a couple games in the wrong position. He's not seeing the whole floor as far as
a couple games ago, I had those clips. And Dale didn't want to play him because he thought I was picking on him. I was like, no, this is what he does. You know what I mean? It's like, it's easy points.
Listen, I'm coming. I just tore my Achilles 6 months ago. I'm coming off surgery. I'm just recovering. I could have scored 8 of those points. I mean, that's bad D.
Yeah, I'm 55. I can get that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I may be able to score a couple of points myself.
Well, listen, guys, this is something I really wanted to add here because I thought there's something to this, and you guys could be the ones to tell me that. But as a bystander as I am, I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing great effort. You talked about desperation basketball. Right here is keeping up the pressure. And you see here, Jimmy Bell gets whacked. He was 15 points and 12 rebounds, but there he got whacked back. But here's the son. He just kept going, kept firing it. I think you need that confidence. And here you see this. There he is. Go break it down on the floor. Their best player, Miles, taking him on. And then, of course, you got the turnovers. Quietly, the Mountaineers have been reducing their turnovers. And they've been getting better and better. And you see Big Jimmy Bell there doing the same thing. There, he's making it. Now, it would be nice if we could do a lot more, but what I'm saying is they're getting better, and they're taking charges. They're doing what it has to be done, and that's what I like about the team. I want to finish it up from TCU. And Tim, I'm going to start off with you. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing them doing the little things that make the big things a lot easier that help you win.
Yeah, like I said, and I've been a proponent of Joe Toussaint, and he's stepping up right now. Coming off the bench, I see just the guys just gelling more and working together. At Cadron, I mean, he's stepping up now. Eric, I'm not sure. I mean, depending upon, don't get him too pissed off so he doesn't get the big T. But I see these guys stepping up. I mean, overall, it's just I said before, it's a matter of time before these guys start gelling, and I think. We're seeing it now.
Jay West.
Once again, I think the word, like we talked about earlier, they played desperate the other night, and it showed because they knew we needed to win. And also, once again, when you're 0-4, sometimes I don't want to say you
compensate.
The games have been close. So I mean, it's easy to say that we've been doing better or stepping up because we've just been 1 or 2 plays away from winning other games. So I think the other night, the desperation, the diving for loose balls, the 50-50 balls, and Kearney and Joe played a great game. They made the proper plays down the stretch to get a win. Now it's a matter of can we be consistent and consistently do that to put together 2 or 3 wins, especially in a home court where the crowd's going to be there and give you that juice you need to kind of get over the hump. Because guess what? Basketball I'm a point guard, and I'm not saying this because I am a point guard, but when your guards play well, normally you got a pretty good chance of winning. We're going to need Joe and Kearney to come because guess what? The 2 guards coming in today, Hunter, Carr, Allen, if they don't play well today and match those guys, we got a long day ahead of us. So they're going to have to play and compete and do a good job today as well.
Okay, so we're going to end this review of TCU with part of our stores has over 200 stores in 5 states: West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. And if there's not a Palomar store near you now, there will be one soon. Wilson Martino Dental, they are big supporters of WVU. Yes, we knew that. And do you know that all their dentists graduated from WVU? Well, all but one. Their orthodontist went to Penn State. Boo. Well, I guess we all can't be perfect. They say the Mountaineers and Wilson Martino Dental. Yeah, we do that. And Dan Cavan Toyota World, shop the world. Your Toyota dealer in Fairmont, West Virginia. Shop the world. I love it, Danny does that. His hands go up, and that's pretty good stuff. And, of course, Country Roads Trust, West Virginia's name, image, and likeness team, changing the game for WVU student athletes. If you don't have Country Roads Trust, you're not going to be competitive at WVU. That's just the bottom line. And they're doing a great job and trying to do it the right way for WVU. Let's move on here, of course, to Oklahoma. I was going to go with the 1-3-1 zone, but we need to get on to I said Oklahoma, on to Texas. So the video here, Marcus Carr, in the last 10 games since Rodney Terry took over as the interim head coach, the guard, he's averaging 20 points per game, 50% from the field, 46% from three-point, 86% from free throw line. He's also 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio with 42-20. And because he's a guard, Jay West, I'm going to continue with you and start out with what you see here and Carr.
He's wired to score. You know, he's an aggressive guard. He wants to score. He's a high volume shooter guy. You know, it's going to go up. And, you know, guys like that, they're going to get their points. It comes down to us. We got to make him as inefficient as possible. We can't give him any easy looks. We got to make him work for everything he gets, but he's wired to score. And then you throw in Hunter, who's the freshman of the year last year in the conference. So they got a very good backcourt. And then you got Allen, he's also wired to score, brother of, you know, Allen, who was here with us a while back. So, you know, but Carr, he's the engine. We can't let him get 20, 25, 30 efficiently. We got to make him work because if you play good defense, he will force a few shots and some turnovers. But he's been playing well, like you said, the last 10 games. We just got to make it tough on him because he's wired to score, and it's going up. One thing about him, it's not, you know, passing is optional. He wants to score.
Mm-hmm. What? DP, go ahead.
He got 77 assists. It's like he's doing a good job of getting in the mid range and scoring. Like we see some threes here. He gets the 1 and 2 dribble pull ups. He gets to he gets to the paint. But he got like 77 assists and only 29 turnovers.
That's good.
So he's really taking care of the ball. The problem I'm worried about with them, they got 4 guys that average 10 points or more.
They do.
So that, and one of them come off the bench. So that means they're consistent. You know what I mean? So, you know, and we talked about it earlier about having more guys that can score, you know what I mean? And, you know, how you scout them and how you got to play them. Of course, you got to stop Carl, slow them down, you know, but you got to slow everybody else down. You can't forget about the Allens of the world.
I like Allen.
And the kid off the bench, Rice. And the big fella ain't bad either. He gets the ball down there. He gets double team a lot. So, you know, it's a high active team right here. And, you know, depending on their energy, we have to match it when they come in tonight.
Hey, Tim, you said you were breaking down Iowa State, Texas there, and you noticed that Marcus Carr, he only had 11 points in that game. So what did they do to shut him down, at least in the point scoring section?
Well, I was, reviewing the game, watching it today. They were bumping him. I mean, they were just kind of trying to keep him off rhythm, and trying to push him out. So I don't know if, our guards have, I think, like I said, Joe Toussaint might be a good matchup against him coming off the bench. I mean, they're both about the same size, the quickness and strength and whatnot. I don't know. You just kind of, centralize on him with Joe and or back up with, with Johnson. My biggest concern off watching that game was watching Bishop coming off the bench, and he made a big impact on that game.
Yeah, he did. And so, Jay West, when you got a guy like Kearney, is that your matchup? I mean, you talked about Toussaint because obviously Toussaint's going to come in. Does Kearney got to play against him?
I think you put Kearney on him, and if Joe comes in, Joe's probably going to get Hunter. I would assume Kearney, kind of a bigger guard, because Carr's about 6'2", 6'3", kind of a bigger guard also. and so Keaty's a little more stronger. So I think that will be who I would start on him. Now Keaty has to do a good job of not getting any ticky-tack fouls, which he's prone to do, and especially when you're guarding a guy who's looking to be aggressive. So we got to kind of monitor that. But I would start Keaty on him and try to, get him to understand how important he is to us and not get any easy fouls. But as everything is always a team. It's 5 against the ball when you're playing against a good guard.
More of a tag team, I think, between Keating and Joe. I mean, they're going back and forth because they're going to call the fouls.
Yep,
that's the biggest thing to keep them out of foul trouble.
Right, good point there, Tim. And we have, of course, the senior number 1, Dylan Dessou. I call him Boris the Butcher because he's out there and he's pretty much throwing everybody around. But he can shoot for the paint now. This guy can do it. He can move. I mean, honestly, he looks a little bit uncoordinated, but he's actually very good.
Looks like Sasquatch.
I mean, I call him Boris the Butcher from Belarus.
Look like Leon Agnew, a little bit, a teammate I had.
You got some big feet.
Oh, Agnew.
Sorry.
I remember, yes. So what do you guys, how are you going to stop this biggin?
He's not a threat. He's not a threat to score 20 unless we just not playing defense. It's how, if you watch the video, it's like everybody's leaving that man. He'll hit the offensive boards. But, he is aggressive and he's awkward. So,
yeah, I mean, he's swinging. He's coming in like he's like this, man. I mean, he's going to take you out, bro.
Yeah, Bell can't
get a full-blown Dalmatian dog just out of control.
But, I wanted to show this part here. This is part of the three-pointer he had. But watch right here. You're going to see Timmy Allen right here that you're talking about. This is a physical game, man. Look at this. I mean, he's coming in. That's what I'm saying. Texas is a physical team. The Mountaineers better be prepared. And here you go. Oh, go ahead.
I think they rely more on their athleticism than being actual physical. The big guy's physical. But everybody else, they get in that lane. They'll drive it. They'll run in and try to jump over you to get offensive rebounds. The guy do have a couple of post moves. He's just strong. But, I just think they just use their athleticism more than, being really they're not as physical, say, as TCU with that big guy and Kansas State.
And Lampkin, you're talking about Lampkin, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so before real quick, what did you think that Jimmy Bell is going to have to do against this big in here? Because you got Allen as well, and you got, as Tim was talking about, you got Bishop, and of course, there's also Dylan Mitchell, number 23. So they're all kind of the same players, all athletic and fairly big, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", but they're there on the boards. Now, they're out rebounding their teams by +2 every time.
You got to get them guys early. Them guys are running in from the three-point line, so you got to hit them. You got to hit them before they get to the lane. A lot of times people turn around when the shot go up and look at the basket, and the guys running right beside them, right behind them. And you got to go meet those guys early, and so they can't get a head start. Because the guy running in he has more power than a guy going straight up for a rebound. And especially with these jump shots, they're coming off. The angles are coming off way different than shots that's coming off in the paint.
Well, I agree with Darryl. I mean, you're looking at it, if they're dropping, trying to shoot a lot of threes or long jumpers, whatever, you got different angles coming off the rim, but definitely you got to block off, and and Bell's got to be careful not to throw his body around and get in the foul trouble because he's a big guy, and unfortunately the referees see that and they'll call the fouls.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Jay West, let's go with this perimeter shooting, man. Tyrese Hunter, 11 points a game, but the team's shooting 48% for the field goal, 33% from the three-point line. Their turnover or assist to turnover ratio is +5 per game, and they're 74% in the free throw. Go.
Obviously, like I said, they're a guard-driven team, so we're going to have to play good defense at the point of attack. We got to do a good job of keeping the ball in front of us. Normally, you get good shots when you get dribble penetration and the defense is broken down. So they have two of the better guards in the conference from a standpoint of who can score, who can play make, who can run the pick and roll at a high level. So we got to do a good job of playing 5 people defending the ball. I do want to make a point also as it pertains to Bell. From a coaching perspective, we're excited that he played great the other day, but sometimes the worst thing you can do is show a coach what your potential is and what you're possible of doing. So now he has to show that he can do that consistently. Lampkin is probably the most physical big in the conference. So if you can do that against him, now we're expecting to see that every game. So he has to bring it every night as well. So, but great team defense if you're trying to stop guards like Carr and Hunter. So it's going to be a team effort.
What about you, DP?
Yeah, all these shots, these guys are jumping late. Look at this. It's late. You got to be there on the catch. You can't let them get the shot up. Them guys, their trigger is fast. And, you got to be there and run them off in line, good team defense. And, it's just you can't let them get straight line drives. And our weakness at the beginning of the year is those kind of drives against us. And, shots right here, that's just a good shot. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta just make every shot difficult. You gotta be on the catch, make every shot difficult. Stay home, stay in your guy, don't lose your guy, just like that, and not give up free shots.
Tim, you got anything to say about it?
No, I mean, I agree with Darryl too. I mean, I think we got some bigger guards too that can kind of, muscle them around a little bit, and hopefully they stay out of foul trouble. But I think their guards aren't as big as ours, and keep on them, push them. But like I said, if Bell can stay out of foul trouble and keep continuing what he did last against TCU, and we have some bench support, I think we should be in good shape. But like I said, we've got a sold-out house tonight. So we saw what happened at Iowa State, how Texas reacted. Hopefully we can continue that.
Okay. But I was looking and breaking down the film of Texas. What I saw, stuff against Iowa State, they did so much outside shooting for me. But looking at it, and I'll go to you, DP, they look like they're the man team. They're allowing 67 points per game. They're usually +3 steals per game. As I said, they're +2 rebounds, average about 36 a game. How do you attack their man-to-man? And I'm going to go ahead and throw this up here and play it out.
Yeah, so like Iowa State's a different team than us. They can
Right.
they can do some things. They can shoot it. They can do some things. We're more of an inside kind of team, and I think we got to drive it, get that. I think they can be driven on. I don't think they're great at the rim. I think you can score at them getting to the rim, and I think it's just what you got to do it the whole time. And then you look at that. So guys being patient, took his time and scored on them. It's just got to. I think they're weak. Look at the paint. There's nobody in the paint. You know what I mean? Like they're not that great of a defensive team. I think they just try to outscore you. When they played Kansas State, it was a high scoring game. I think Kansas State will score over 100 points against them, and they'll let you score. But they try to run it back down your throat.
Yeah. Well, okay. What about you, Tim? What do you say to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with Darryl, but I also saw too in the second half what Iowa State did against Texas, and the fact that they were mixing up their defenses and doing some zone traps and everything else, which it basically threw them down. They shot like 54%. Texas did in the first half, and they ended up shooting the second half 38%. So maybe, and it's been a long time since Hugs has done any type of zone work, but we have the capability to do it. So I think mixing up might throw them off as well because it worked for Iowa State.
Jay West, do you see Hugs doing any zone at all this season?
That's not his DNA. Now, will he sprinkle some in if he's in a situation where a team has a pretty good feel for what we're doing man to man? Yes, he might sprinkle some in, but Hugs is a man to man guy. And for the most part, you're gonna be true to your identity unless you're just getting destroyed. I think we're gonna come out and play man to man like we normally do. I think I'm like Prue. I think we run our stuff. Texas isn't necessarily what you look at it like Carr, Hunter. Those guys aren't lockdown defenders. Allen, those guys aren't lockdown defenders. So if we just execute our stuff offensively, I think we should. And Bell, I think will have an advantage if he's patient against their bigs. I think we'll be fine offensively. They're more of an offensive team than a defensive team. So we just have to come out, execute, make good decisions, run our stuff, and I think we'll be fine offensively.
Is there such a thing as, when you're man-to-man defense, as bad spacing on defense for man-to-man? Is there such a thing, Darryl?
Yeah, you saw it earlier with Smith. Emmett Matthews, just being in the wrong spots, the wrong place.
I wasn't trying to go back to that.
No. There were games before where it wasn't help defense. So So it's that's the bad spacing on defense.
Okay.
I mean, on a defensive note, and Darryl, you know this as well as Jarrod, a man-to-man defense is basically the same thing as a zone. Basically, how you set up and how you're helping on the weak side. It's basically set up as a zone, but at the same time, it's still man-to-man. So it just depends upon the weak side help and people, not having their back to the basket, on the weak side, and that's what needs to get fixed.
Okay, so that brings me to the big conclusion. Okay, and how do you defeat the number 7, although they just lost, but they're number 7, Texas Longhorns at the Coliseum in Morgantown in front of a home crowd, and they might come in a little bit injured and a little bit fiery because they lost against Iowa State, but at the same time, maybe they're lacking a little bit of confidence. And I'm going to go, Tim, I'm going to start out with you.
The biggest thing is, the foul troubles, and it's going to be a physical game. And hopefully, when it comes down to a physical game, you're going to get a bunch of, fouls called. That and hitting our free throws and transition, because it was a quick game. Iowa State and Texas, I watched this game. I mean, there was a lot of, back and forth. I mean, it was a fast-paced game. So I think it's keeping control over the whole pace of it and what we have to do, That's my bottom line.
All right. Jarrod, let's go to you. I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, hey, Texas is scoring about 80 points per game. If you have them, say, low 71, 70, is that where the Mountaineers want? Is that the magic number, or has it got to be lower?
Yeah, I think 70s is fine. Obviously, we got to ride the wave of our home crowd. We got to contain their guards. We can't let their 3 guards, or especially Carr and Hudd, we can't let them come in here and go off. So we obviously got to play defense. I think we should have the advantage in the paint. I think we should have the advantage rebounding, offensive rebounding. So we kind of have to grind it out, yuck it up a little bit. I think if it's built on spacing and more offensive game, we might be in trouble. So ride the wave of the crowd, defend, make it more physical. We want this. The more physical this game is, the better it is for us, in my opinion. If it's more, freedom of movement, if it's more of a skilled game, shooting and 3-point shooting, that's to their advantage. So yuck it up, be physical, and let the home crowd do what they do, and get another win.
DP, I showed you the highlights of what I saw with the team moving, making good plays, and you guys blew it up there. How do you reinforce those good plays that they made when they were passing the ball, moving down the court, all the good things that they were doing? How do you reinforce that and say, listen, you just did this against number 14 TCU, now you got number 7 Texas. These are big games. These are big opponents, and you have to give that same extra effort you did on Tuesday again here on Saturday.
I would, as a coach, I would in film, I would show it to them again. I would show them, because we always in film, we always show negative plays and what we could have did better, this and that. I would show those plays and how those plays impacted the win. But
you would show the positive plays again.
I would show the positive plays. Yeah, I would show the positive plays. But I'd be careful, because sometimes teams might overpass and just overdo it and not and not play reactive. They'll start thinking too much. I think. Yeah, I think. I think. If they can keep their composure on, because Texas is going to run it down their throat. They can keep the composure, keep them off the boards. I think we can hit the offensive boards. We got to get back, and we got to make the game physical, like Jarrod said, because they don't play good defense down in paint. They'll allow you to score. So it's just we just can't take jacking shots because the other team is making shots.
Darryl, I don't know if you agree, but I think they're going to try to run the ball on us.
That's all they do. That's their style. Yeah, that's their style. So they was playing faster when their first coach was there. Now they're a little bit more efficient now than they were before. When Chris Berry was coaching, they were flying up and down the court. They were just jumping all over the place. Now they got a little bit more efficiency on offense than they did at the beginning of the year.
Okay, Jay West, Who's your player to click for the Mountaineers?
Say it again.
Who's your player to click for the Mountaineers?
I think if Bell plays well tonight, I think we got a good chance of winning because I think we should have a distinct advantage in the paint. We need, after watching that film, we need Emmett to play better. Hey,
Go ahead, Tim.
Prue, I ain't trying to pick on him, but hey, one thing every coach, the film don't lie, as everybody here knows, you know. So that little film we saw, he's got to do a lot better job defensively. You know, offensively, continue to be more aggressive. Kearney and Joe have to continue to do what they're doing. And to be honest with you, since Oklahoma State, Stevenson hadn't played well. I mean, that's just called a spade a spade. We need him to get back to what he was doing as well. So, like I said earlier, with this team, you don't know who the guy is. It can be one of five players, 6 players, but we definitely need Emmett to play better defensively.
Okay, and I'm going to say this before I go on. I've had bad film too. We all have.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll leave it at that. Tim, who's your player to click?
I agree with everything Jarrod said. I mean, seriously, you don't know what guy's going to show up today. And Bell's going to be a key player to it. And I think Joe to sign off the bench, I think he's going to be, you know, as far as, you know, trying to shut down Carr, and as well as Johnson, as well as shutting down Carr. It depends on who shows up that night, you know.
Hey, DP. It used to be Stevenson at the end of the show.
Hey, as long as he doesn't get another tactical.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. DP, go ahead, man.
He was
Sergeant, I'm just kidding, Timmy.
He was in love with Stevenson at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And there was a lot to it, though. If you remember, there was a lot going on. He was leading the team with 14 points per game. So I get it. But DP, who's your player to click?
One thing, Jarrod, you know, like I sent WolfMan like 2 games ago a list of defensive plays. It was about 15 plays, and 10 of them was Emmett. So he was like, "Prue, you can't do this." He said, "Anything positive?" I was like,
"Yeah."
I've been called out. Okay, I'm gonna give you all one. I'm gonna give you all one more quick question, and then we're gonna get out of here. All right.
Mitchell.
Oh, go ahead. Finish off.
He got to give us 20-something points. He got to give us a game where he got 20-something points.
Who?
Mitchell.
Prue, you think since they're playing Texas, you think he'll be more locked in to want to prove something?
I think he came from. I thought he came from UMass. He was at Texas at first.
He went to UMass first. Then he was at Texas last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, or Texas is going to know enough about him, and it's going to go the other way.
That's why I was asking.
Wait a minute, no, you got Boris the Butcher of Belarus coming at you.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Sooner or later, Matthews is going to light it up for 20+ points too.
We halfway there. We got her to do
it. Hey, okay. So last question then, and think about this real quick. Okay, who's the best player in the Big 12 that you've seen the Mountaineers play thus far? I'm going to go with, I'll tell you at the end. Go ahead. DP, go.
Noel.
Oh, Marquise. Okay. All right. And what about you? Jared, what about you? Hey, you.
Well,
Jay West, what about you?
Since he said Noel, I'll pick Miles looked good the other day. I would say Keontae George is starting to come on a little bit for Baylor.
Okay. What about you, Tim?
It's at any night. I mean, it's any given night. I mean, some of these players that I've seen out on the floor. I mean, who was the big guy for down there that destroyed us? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, to be honest.
What team?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's been it's any given night with these guys. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I like Noel. I like Johnson.
Well, wait a minute. No, that's my pick. Keontae Johnson. Now, Kansas State. Right? You took my key, so I got that. So we're good to go, fellas. I want to thank you so much. Let's go Mountaineers. We need a big victory tonight against the Texas Longhorns. They are the Mountaineers are due because I think the Texas leads 15-10 in the all-time series. We got off the snide of the Big 12. Okay, Tim Kearney, thank you. Jarrod West, thank you. Darryl Prue, thank you. This is Mountaineer Hardcourt Legends pregame.
We've got a sellout tonight, right?
We got a sellout. We're ready to roll. Hey, Oklahoma sold out too down the road. Okay. Oklahoma too. All right, fellas. God bless, man. Let's go
Thank
win.
you. Thank
Victory,
you.
baby.
Take care.
Let's go. Let's go, Mountaineers.
Destined for greatness. My name is written in stars. And I will give everything, all that I have to the cause. Fight against evil, run through the pain, battle it all, this is more than a game. I am a lion and I can't be tamed, it's how it was made. This ice in my veins, run through it all. No matter the odds, I will answer a call. The enemy knocks on the door. Even the greatest among us will fall, but the greatest will get back up. So I won't back down and I won't give up, and I will act now and I will stand up. They know that I'm here for it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par Mar store. From gas to grocery, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par Mar Stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par Mar app and sign up for the Par Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par Mar Stores, and remember, if there's not a Par Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Wilson Martino Dental. Did you know that 95% of our dentists have graduated from WVU? And many former players and WVU coaches trust Wilson Martino Dental with their oral health. The Mountaineers and Wilson Martino Dental. Yeah, we do that.